There are some books that feel less like stories and more like dreams someone accidentally trapped inside paper. You don't read them in straight line, you wander through them. And few books have done that to readers, quite like the Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. A book where logic folds itself like a playing card, where conversations feel like riddles whispered at midnight, where tea parties become philosophical warfare, and where the childhood curiosity slowly transforms into something stranger, almost existential. What makes Wonderland fascinating is that it never behaves like a normal fantasy world. Most fantasy stories build their worlds carefully, brick by brick, with rules and system and maps that you can follow. Wonderland feels like exact opposite. It feels alive, unstable, like a dream trying to improvise itself while you are inside it. One moment playful, the next deeply unsettling, and then suddenly hilarious again. And somehow it has survived more than 150 years without losing that strange magic. So tonight, let's sit down with a warm cup of coffee and fall slowly into the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole does not announce itself. It simply opens beneath your feet, and before you realize what's happening, you are already falling. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland was published in 1865 by Lewis Carroll, whose real name was Charles Ludwig Tolkien. And Carroll himself feels like someone who could have stepped directly out of Wonderland. He was a mathematician, a lecturer at Oxford, a puzzle lover, a photographer, a writer obsessed with language, paradoxes, nonsense, and logic game taken to their most absurd conclusions. Which explains why Wonderland feels so uniquely bizarre. This is not a fantasy born from mythology or epic battles. It's fantasy born from wordplay, from questions like what happens if language stops behaving properly? What happens if logic becomes too logical? What happens when adults sound more childish than the children itself? And the origin of the story itself is oddly gentle. Carroll made up the tale during a boat trip with three young sisters, including a girl named Alice Liddell, who simply asked him to tell them a story. That improvised afternoon became one of the most influential books ever written. What's remarkable is how adaptable it has proven across every generation. Children see adventure, adults see satire, philosophers see absurdism, psychologists see dream symbolism, artists see pure creative freedom. And honestly, all of them are probably correct. Because Wonderland refuses to stay still long enough to become just one thing. Mathematician who invented a fantasy world built on a broken logic. Puzzle lover who constructed the ultimate puzzle with no solution. Carroll understood something most storytellers miss. Sometimes the most liberating thing a language can do is refuse to behave. The story begins quietly. A young girl named Alice is sitting beside her sister on a warm afternoon, bored out of her mind. And then she notices something impossible. A white rabbit wearing clothes, carrying a pocket watch, panicking about being late. Now, in most stories, this would be treated as a shocking supernatural event. But Alice reacts with the kind of curiosity only children truly possess. She follows it. And that single decision changes everything. Because once she falls down the rabbit hole, reality itself starts dissolving. Not dramatically, not violently, softly. Like the world has decided to stop making sense, 1 inch at a time. She grows larger, then smaller. Rooms change proportions. Animals speak with complete confidence. Nobody answers the question properly. Every conversation happens slightly sideways from where you expected it. And the deeper Alice travels into Wonderland, the more the book begins operating on a dream logic instead of a story logic. Characters appear suddenly and disappear suddenly. Arguments begin for no reason. Time behaves strangely. Meaning keeps slipping through your fingers just as you think you have grasped it. And yet somehow it all feels internally consistent. Like the Wonderland has rules, just not rules that humans were ever meant to understand. Along the way, you meet some of the most unforgettable characters in all of literature. The grinning Cheshire Cat, who dispenses wisdom by slowly disappearing. The chaotic Mad Hatter, hosting a tea party that never ends and never quite makes sense. Perpetually anxious White Rabbit, who is always late for something but never explains what. And the Queen of Hearts, screaming for executions every few minutes, like an emotionally unstable dictator at a very confused garden party. Every character in Wonderland is a fragment of human behavior taken to its logical extreme. The Hatter's madness, the Queen's tyranny, the Rabbit's anxiety. Carroll understands that the most effective satire doesn't exaggerate humanity. It simply removes the polite layer of pretense we wrap around ourselves. Beneath all the humor and the chaos, the story quietly explores something surprisingly universal: the confusion of growing up. Because Alice spends much of the book trying to understand who she is. Literally, she keeps changing sides, changing environments, changing emotional states. At several points, she even questions whether she is still herself anymore. And suddenly, Wonderland stops feeling random. It starts feeling deeply familiar. Because childhood itself can feel exactly like that. Adults make strange rules that nobody explains. Language becomes confusing and contradictory. Identity feels unstable. The world constantly changes shape faster than you understand it, which is probably why this book had survived for 160 years. It isn't just nonsense, it's emotionally accurate nonsense. And that is a very different thing. Most fantasy gives you a hero with a map. Alice has neither. She has only curiosity and the willingness to keep walking forward, even when the forward makes no particular sense. And that turns out to be enough. Emotionally accurate nonsense. That phrase stayed with me long after I have finished the book because it describes something very real. Those moments in life when the events make no logical sense, but the feeling they produce are absolutely true. Wonderland captures that experience more honestly than the most realistic fiction ever manages. Reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland as an adult feels very different from reading it as a child. As children, we experience the Wonderland as chaos and adventure, a pure forward momentum into the strange. But as adult, the book becomes strangely uncanny because suddenly the conversations start sounding familiar. You recognize how often normal people speak in circles, how frequently the system makes no sense, but everyone pretends they do. How authority can become absurd while maintaining the complete confidence in itself. How language itself can confuse the reality instead of clarifying it. There is something almost hypnotic about how scenes move in this book. They don't transition normally, they drift, like moving through the connected dreams. Each one coherent within itself, but impossible to map when taken together. And I think that's why the Wonderland continues influencing films, games, art, animation, fashion, psychology, and storytelling even today. It unlocked a certain kind of imagination, The kind that does not ask, "Does this even make sense?" but instead it asks, "Does this feel emotionally true?" That is a very different kind of storytelling. And very few books capture the feeling of being inside a dream with this kind of precision. It's not a pleasant dream. It's not a nightmare either. It's something in between. A dream that smiles at you politely while rearranging reality behind your back. The Cheshire Cat tells Alice that everyone in the Wonderland is mad, including her. And Alice asks how he knows she is mad. He says she must be, otherwise she wouldn't have even come here. That exchange stayed with me because it quietly suggests that the willingness to enter the unknown, to follow a strange rabbit into an uncertain rabbit hole, might be its own kind of beautiful madness. Should you read the Alice's Adventures in Wonderland? Yes. But perhaps more importantly, read it again if you have already read it. Because this is one of those rare classics that feels impossible to outgrow. You can revisit it at different stages of life and discover entirely different meaning hiding beneath the same pages. At 8, pure adventure. At 20, satire and absurdism. At 30, something surprisingly philosophical. Later still, perhaps something you don't quite have the words for yet. Go in slowly. Don't rush through it to find out what happens. The point of Wonderland is never the destination. It's the wandering. And maybe that's the real magic this book has kept for over 150 years. It never fully explains itself. It never hands you the moral. It never tells you what to take away. It simply invites you in and lets your own mind wander through it. And what you find there says more about you than it does about the book. The rabbit hole does not announce itself. It simply opens beneath your feet. And before you realize what's happening, you are already falling. But after the 150 years of readers falling into this particular hole, nobody has landed in quite the same place twice. Food for thought. And with that, me Nikhil, signing off. I will meet you again soon with another book, another quiet conversation, and another cup of coffee. Until then, take care of yourself. If you get some value from this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Share this video with a fellow reader and keep turning the page. I thank you very much for your time.